One of the senior-most judges at the Delhi High Court is in the eye of a storm over the recovery of a large amount of cash in his house after an incident of fire was reported. The Supreme Court Collegium, led by the Chief Justice of India, has sought a fact-finding report from the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court and has transferred the judge to his original Allahabad High Court. But there are many who ask, is transfer punishment enough? And who will judge the judges? Big scandal hits the judiciary. Cash recovered from a High Court judge's home in Delhi. Supreme Court Collegium transfers the judge. Can the High Court judge be asked to resign? Who will judge the judiciary? And that's our top focus on the NewsTrack. Does Lord Denning's oft repeated, "Be you ever so high, the law is above you," apply to the honourable judges of the High Court and the Supreme Court of India? There are officers of the court who are today saying they are shaken and they're demoralized after a large amount of cash was recovered from a sitting High Court judge's residence. Should there have been a probe? Should there be an FIR, a first information report? Or is there merit in due course being followed? Let the High Court Chief Justice first ascertain all the facts. Till then, the Justice is moved out of the Delhi High Court, and then action will be taken on the basis of facts that are known. We discuss, we debate. I'm Gaurav Sawant. As always, let's get started with the headlines at 8. Union Home Minister Amit Shah wades into the language controversy, accuses the DMK of raking up the issue to hide corruption. Amit Shah declares Hindi does not compete with any other national language. Rahul Gandhi reignites merit versus caste quota debate, says merit system is an upper caste construct. BJP accuses the Congress MP of displaying nepotistic and feudal mindset. Full Nataka in the Karnataka Assembly. BJP MLA suspended and evicted from the House over honey trap charges. BJP demands Chief Minister Siddaramaia's resignation. Karnataka Assembly passes 4% minority quota bill as opposition legislators protest. BJP calls the bill injustice to Dalits. Pakistan launches a brutal crackdown on Baluch activists in Quetta. Dozens, including women, arrested. Pakistani security forces resort to firing and tear gas shells are launched. In one of the biggest scandals to rock the higher Indian judiciary, a Delhi High Court judge has been transferred following the recommendation of the Supreme Court Collegium. This after a large amount of cash was recovered from his bungalow after a fire incident was reported. The revelations have triggered a massive debate. Is transfer punishment enough? Should there have been an FIR? And who will judge the judges?
Mr. Justice Yashwant Verma. Sir, please.
It is one of the biggest scandals to hit the Indian judiciary. At the center of the storm is Delhi High Court Judge Justice Yashwant Verma. Unaccounted cash was found at his bungalow over the Holy weekend after a fire incident. After the cash recovery, Justice Verma was transferred back to his parent court, the Allahabad High Court, after the Supreme Court Collegium's recommendation. Whether an in-house inquiry will be conducted is still under consideration. Supreme Court Collegium had sought a report from Delhi High Court Chief Justice on the case. Supreme Court judges have also been informed about the issue. the cash scandal has triggered big outrage.
I don't wish to make a comment except to say that the law must be set in motion. Because the minute you get a recovery of quote-unquote large amounts, quote-unquote a pile of cash, what is a large amount? What is the pile of cash? We are just going by rumors. Someone says 15 crores, someone says 50 crores. I think this incident calls for a disclosure statement by the Collegium on all the questions that have raised.
Certainly, the issue of corruption within the judiciary is a very serious issue, and this is not something that has been articulated by senior counsel and lawyers in this country. So I think that it's time for the Supreme Court to start looking at issues of how the appointment process should take place.
So what happens next? The Allahabad High Court Bar Association has already objected to the Justice Verma's transfer back, saying that their court is not a trash bin. Sources tell India Today that the union government is waiting for Supreme Court action in the case and is willing to bring impeachment motion if it is recommended. With Shrishti Ojha in New Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
So what is it that we know so far? There was a fire on the 14th, not today, not yesterday, but the incident took place on the 14th. The information came in public domain, and only then do we have more information coming in. And then there are those who ask, including the Vice President of India, Jagdeep Dhankar. He's asked, should information have come out on its own? Whether it's accountability, should it happen automatically? And perhaps he says it will be happening on its own. But who is Justice Yashwant Verma? Let me get you more on him. In 2006, he was elevated as special counsel at the Allahabad High Court. In August 2012 till August 2013, he was the chief standing counsel for the Uttar Pradesh government. In October 2014, he was elevated as an additional judge, and in October 2021, he was transferred to the Delhi High Court. In March 2025, which is now, it is being recommended that he be sent back to the Allahabad High Court, and the Allahabad High Court Bar Council is saying, why are we a trash bin? And those are very strong words that are coming in. But I want to tell you a little more information that is coming in. The Chief Justice of India, CJI Sanjeev Khanna led SC Collegium, it decided to transfer Justice Verma to his parent court, the Allahabad High Court. That's information that is coming in after, quote unquote, a large amount of cash was recovered. What is this amount? There are several figures that are floating in public domain, but the authorities are silent on the recovery. Is transfer enough, or is transfer very clearly inadequate in this case? An in-house inquiry, is that sufficient? These are several questions that we are seeking answers to. An in-house inquiry, will it be transparent? Will it reveal the truth? Is there merit in the contention that more would be brushed under the carpet than revealed in the interest of protecting the integrity of the organization, as some lawyers say? Then let there be a transparent inquiry. Let all facts emerge in public domain. What are other facts that we know as of now? Some of the verdicts delivered by Justice Verma. In February 2025, the Unnao rape convict Sengar, he was granted bail on medical grounds. That was one such case. In May 2024, he set aside an order in favor of Kalanithi Maran in the SpiceJet case. In March 2024, dismissed the Congress party plea against income tax reassessment proceedings. In November 2022, the Central Bureau of Investigation and the Enforcement Directorate were asked to give all press notes on the Delhi liquor scam. Before that, in September 2022, Dr. Subramanian Swamy was directed to hand over his Delhi bungalow in a period of 6 weeks. In September 2022, Lokpal proceedings under Shibu Soren were stayed. In September 2022, details of sanction for prosecution under UAPA and exempt from RTI. Now, the higher judiciary is under intense scrutiny once again. From lawmakers to officers of the law, there are rising demands for accountability in the higher judiciary. There is a case. Is this a test case for accountability? Should the Supreme Court have ordered the registration of an FIR? Is the Collegium right in first directing the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court to ascertain facts and then take a considered decision once all facts are known? I'm now being joined by Dushyant Dave, a senior advocate who joins me on the show. Mr. Dave, many thanks for joining me, sir. Does this show the higher judiciary in poor light? Not just reports of recovery of quote-unquote large amount of cash, but the action taken by the Collegium so far or the lack of it, is it too little and too opaque?
Well, I must say that this case really has raised very serious issues about the happenings in the judiciary. But this is, as I have said, earlier, that it is a tip of an iceberg. And there are very serious, issues challenging the judiciary on account of various kinds of, interference, financial interference, political interference, ideological interference, which is deflecting justice in more than one way. And therefore, as a result of that, a lot of people are suffering. They are getting, they are not getting justice. Injustice is being done to them. And this case, of course, reflects a very, very, I would say, sorry state of affairs in the judiciary. Although some of us, and especially me, I have raised this again and again in my letters to various chief justices in the past, citing specific instances of, judges who have really conducted themselves very badly and given more than suspicion about their judgments and about their judicial conduct. But no action, no reaction came, no action was taken. This case is now, it is impossible for Justice Verma to explain how this cash was found in his house. Okay. And if it was any other public servant or a politician, then of course he would have been picked up immediately and Prevention of Corruption Act would have been pressed into service.
So let me then take it up from what you've said. The incident, we are told, took place on the 14th. It's come to light only now. So is there merit in Vice President Jagdeep Dhankad and Chairman Rajya Sabha saying it bothers him that the incident did not come to light immediately? And perhaps a systematic response which is transparent, accountable and effective, he feels he's sure is on the way. So is there merit that the current system is neither transparent nor accountable and effective?
See, not only non-transparent, but it is completely ineffective. Over a long period of time, when, senior members of the bar like me, who have no axe to grind, point out to the judges that there are specific instances of wrongdoing and Chief Justice after Chief Justice doesn't act, it really hurts because we love institution. We want institution to improve. We want so that it can give real justice to people who are seeking justice. So, this instance is also not going to bring any kind of a final solution to the problem which is seriously ailing. It's a cancer which has set into judicial system.
Oh my
and
God. Very strong words, sir.
Gaurav, you meet people all over. I meet people on golf courses, in weddings, in restaurants, on plane. They are constantly complaining that they have suffered injustice because of corrupt judges. Now, what do you do about it? Whom do you talk to? If the Collegium doesn't want to talk, doesn't want to meet, it remains in isolated, ivory tower. God knows what they discuss amongst themselves. If they don't want to discuss openly, if they don't want to meet people who really can tell them honestly and boldly as to what is really affecting the system, what's the point? So this is going to be one more incident where I think a decent burial will be given to the incident.
Sir, that would be very, very unfortunate. But are you saying that the faith of the masses, the faith of the common masses in judiciary may, God forbid, be adversely impacted? What needs to be done in your appreciation, sir?
Gaurav, unlike Western countries, this country does not have surveys about many things, including, what is happening in judiciary or government. If surveys were taken by independent agencies, I can assure you that judiciary will fail very poorly. People have really, I mean, lost faith in judicial system. It's not just inefficiency and long delays, but it is also this corruption which is affecting common man very badly. I mean, time and again people are saying that things are really not honky dory in judiciary, and there is nobody to listen to. So I don't think really we can unless we have a system where these kind of grievances are brought to the notice of the judges. If the judges are willing to listen and meet people, they want to understand, because you see what has happened is these collegiums are appointing these judges. All these judges today who are facing challenges across the country, and I can tell you there are a large number of them. Majority of judges are honest. Unfortunately, it is this strong minority which is giving a bad name to judiciary. But they are very effective, they are very vocal, and they are very authoritative. And they are the ones who really take up these important cases of involving rich and powerful people, politicians and others. And
then who should then appoint the judges? Should the government appoint judges? When there was talk of a appointment of a judicial commission, a national appointments commission for judiciary, that was struck down. What needs to be done? How do you appoint judges with unimpeachable integrity, and how do you ensure that somebody is keeping an eye on everybody in a very transparent manner?
I have no faith in the collegium system, and I have made no bones about it. I appeared and argued before that bench which upheld the NJSC, and I told them openly in open court. I mean, I must tell you, I used very strong words as president of the bar, arguing before that constitution bench, that you wear burqas and walk in corridor of any court in this country and you will know what your goodwill and reputation is. So, I mean, I know what is happening. I love the institution. I respect it. But yet I have to say that there is nobody who's willing to raise the voice. We lawyers are responsible. Judges are not doing this on their own. Lawyers are party to it, many lawyers. Lawyers, knowing full well that judges have been fixed by their clients, appear day in and day out. And that includes, successful lawyers, very successful lawyers. The registry is corrupt. Even in Supreme Court, I can assure you, today, of course, things have changed under Chief Justice Khanna. But till the other day, the registry was horribly planned. And I know, as a matter of fact, that some advocates on record in Supreme Court can manipulate registry to the advantage of their clients. And monies were being exchanged. I know that.
How can the system be made transparent and accountable? In this current instance, for example, instead of a transfer, is there a system of suspension, for example, or leave pending investigation, so that there's a transparent, time-bound investigation and action taken? And would that require a change of law, or are existing laws in your view sufficient, sir?
No, if the collegium is serious, and this is a good collegium, they are honest judges. If they are serious, they should really withdraw judicial work from him by an order of the court, a judicial order, and they should allow CBI to prosecute him forthwith.
CBI should be allowed to prosecute him. So register an FIR and prosecute.
Yes, absolutely. There is no other way. You can't send a message to these kind of, horrible judges across the country unless you start acting against them. See, problem is that judges always want to protect their own. We have seen in Chief Justice Gogoi's case, when he was facing...
So for the moment, if you permit, I'll stay on this case. I'll tell you why. I have to throw this open to a bigger panel, but I don't want to lose you, and I want to get your thoughts on what the Chief Justice has done in the instant case, for example. Isn't the CJI-led collegium doing the right thing by asking the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court to ascertain all facts, then take a considered decision on the basis of facts that are known to them, sir?
See, it is one way of doing it, but I feel that every public servant or who is found with this kind of unaccounted cash. We saw in that West Bengal minister's case where large number of cash was found from his house and his girlfriend's house. We saw all that, and he was arrested and he appears to be still in jail, or maybe he was bailed out. I don't know. But if every public servant faces this kind of scrutiny forthwith, why should judges not face? In the garb of independence of judiciary, you cannot allow judges to, enjoy corruption. And that's what is happening. So
that's a
answer
very
is,
strong point you're making, sir. Go on.
So
Please
answer
complete your
is-
point, sir.
answer is, instead of executive taking over, the collegium should itself go into this case in less than 24 hours. If they are satisfied that there is no explanation forthcoming about this unaccounted cash, they should immediately order prosecution by CBI. They should declare. So that's the only way to move forward. Otherwise, I mean, everything will be hidden and people will forget these cases in the past. We saw that Punjab case where cash was found in the residence of outside the judge or something. Somebody was delivering. And I know of other cases.
And there are multiple other cases. It just ends up becoming statistics. We talk about it a couple of days and then it's all consigned, to the bin of history. Mr. Dave, for joining me here on India Today, as always, many thanks, sir. I now want to bring into this conversation Vikas Singh, former Additional Solicitor General of India, also senior advocate in the Supreme Court. Sir, welcome. Does this show the higher judiciary in poor light, in your view, the action taken so far or the lack of it?
So according to me, it's a very, very difficult time for the higher judiciary today. This kind of an allegation is, really damaging the credibility of the institution, which is the higher judiciary. And it is definitely a moment for all of us to introspect. And when I say all of us, I include myself, being, been the president of the bar for 3 terms. And I feel that I owe something to the institution to see that things move in the right direction. And as far as this judge is concerned, I'm sure very soon he will be handed over to the law enforcement agencies. It's a matter of couple of days where the Chief Justice will do his preliminary inquiry. This preliminary inquiry is not a shield for the judge. It's basically some kind of a check that a frivolous case should not reach into the law enforcement agencies. It's not meant to be a cover-up by any standard. At least I feel in the term of the present Chief Justice, this cover-up should not happen. I'm a little surprised that how the Collegium agreed to transfer him from a small Allahabad High Court to a very important Delhi High Court, and whichever Collegium was responsible for that should be made answerable.
Okay.
This is actually a very, very serious issue. And also this is high time that we try to weed out all the black sheep in the system and set up very strong example of him and see that all those people who are peddling with justice are taken to task, including the judges who are involved in the peddling.
Sir, since you mentioned that his coming from Allahabad High Court to Delhi should be looked into, Anil Tiwari, president of the Allahabad High Court Bar Association, and he'll be joining us in a bit, he said in a letter that if 15 lakh rupees are found at the house of any common person, he'd be sent to jail. But cash X amount, I'm just going with X amount because we don't have on authority how much cash was recovered or found at the judge's house. He's being given ghar vapsi. Is Allahabad High Court a dustbin? Sir, you think this criticism is justified?
100% justified. And I personally feel that transfer is never a solution or a way forward in a matter like this. The only thing that should happen after that, whatever brief inquiry the Chief Justice of the Delhi High Court is doing, should be to, stop all judicial work being given to him. And there is a precedent for that. If you remember, when the Bombay High Court had faced a similar controversy of 4 senior judges being alleged to be involved in corruption, they were all not given any judicial work, and the Bar Association passed a resolution and they were all made to resign. So I think this is high time that this action is taken of withdrawing judicial work from him and then asking him to resign. And if he doesn't resign, then continue to withdraw judicial work from him and start the impeachment process. And I hope the political dispensation also, or the political class, so to say, because that's something which is entirely in their domain, take the impeachment process forward and to its logical end, because unfortunately there has never been any impeachment in this country in spite of serious allegations being made earlier as well.
But it's such a long-winded process, sir, given the fact that judges have to be insulated. But in cases of corruption, can that process and should that process be made much smaller, or can judges of can the collegium recommend any action? Can that be done in this case, for example? Because the question that I want to know, the CJI-led collegium, they're doing the right thing. First, get to know facts from Chief Justice Upadhyay of the Delhi High Court, and then decide what action is to be taken or what next course of action has to be recommended, sir?
So this report probably from the Chief Justice should come by tomorrow. And I think by Monday, the Collegium should meet and take a final call of what should happen. And the moment the Collegium takes a call that he has to face the law, then the criminal justice system will kick in. So there is no question of stopping that. That will not, that will start the moment this clearance is given by the Collegium. And as far as the impeachment is concerned, that is a long drawn process that may take time, may happen, may not happen. But the kind of pressure that the civil society can, create in this matter, or even the Bar Association can create in this matter, it could compel the learned judge to resign and save his face from any further criticism. But all that will happen or unfold in the next couple of days. Let's see how things...
What is the maximum that the Chief Justice of India-led collegium can do once they've ascertained facts, once facts are known to them? What are their options? What's maximum they can do? Just recommend a CBI inquiry or stop any cases going to him? Or is there something more that they can do?
So constitutionally, this... stopping judicial work is not something which is there spelt out in the Constitution, but assigning judicial work is the job of the Chief Justice of the respective High Court, and the Collegium can always request the Chief Justice of the High Court to not give any work to a particular judge, and that has happened in the past, and that is something which is normally accepted. And asking the law to take its usual course by starting the CBI investigation, permitting the ED to get in, and asking them to look into all the transactions that he must have done with regard to the money trail, etc. All that can start immediately. And for that, the impeachment need not wait. So I personally feel that the law can be and should be set in motion if there is a case of corruption, or if there is a case of prima facie case of corruption or wrongdoing. And also, this is also a time to introspect on the collegium system itself. If such a judge can be transferred from Allahabad to Delhi, or if judges are getting appointed without a proper credibility and an integrity check, I feel even the merit is not being considered properly when the collegium is appointing judges. So this is high time that they reinvented the collegium system and made it more transparent. And also, they reach out to find out the right names rather than lobbying to become judges.
Okay.
This lobbying to become judges, according to me, is a very, very dangerous precedent. And the person who lobbies to become a judge should be disqualified on that basis alone. And that is how they can reinvent themselves and set in a procedure for selecting people to the higher judiciary. And
that's a very pertinent point.
Weed out all the elements who are tainted, so to say, because we all know tainted names, in the bar, and they can easily be identified. There are peddlers of justice amongst the corridors of power, and they can easily take you if they are taken up and arrested. They can always take you to the judge who is also involved in peddling of justice, and this also should happen in this.
Should it then go back to the government to appoint judges through a process where at least the government appoints judges, or will that mean government interference in judiciary and the debate comes back all over again?
So I'm not in favor of government appointing the judges, but I'm definitely in favor of the government having a say, at least in the in either having a secretariat or in suggesting names or in deciding the eligibility for becoming a judge. I'll give you an example. So a person is appointed a judge whose income is less than what a judge is getting as salary. Now that's something which is completely unacceptable. Why should anybody be appointed if he's getting less? So there should be clear-cut, eligibilities which somebody should meet. And only those people who meet that eligibility should be considered for elevation. And in the process, if government also is able to recommend some names or have a permanent secretariat to go through those names, look into the credibility part. In any case, when the matter goes to the IB, they look at the credibility part.
Absolutely, yes.
So that can be done even earlier. I don't understand why can't they be associated at the earlier stage. But once the names are finally shortlisted,
Okay.
then let the collegium decide. But what is happening today, that the names that are being shortlisted are very few of people whom the collegium judges know, rather than the best names which are available in the system.
Mr. Vikas Singh, for joining me here on India Today. As always, many thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Let me now throw this open for a wider discussion, and I want to quickly cut across and bring into this conversation Anil Tiwari, President of the Allahabad High Court Bar Association. Sir, you've written a very, very strong letter. Many thanks for joining me. Let me first begin by asking you, and before I introduce all our other guests, I have Diljit Ahluwalia joining me. Mr. Bhandari joins me on the broadcast, as does Adesh Agrawala, senior advocate in the Supreme Court. Many thanks, gentlemen. But Mr. Tiwari, to you first, why don't you want him to come back to Allahabad High Court right now? Because nothing has been proven as yet. Why do you think his coming back to Allahabad would make the High Court a dustbin?
I've seen the comments of my colleagues, my senior colleague, Mr. Vikas was also saying something. I want to clarify my stand.
Go on, sir.
What has been done with Mr. Yashwant, it's not a question of one individual judge. Yashwant Verma is not an issue. Issue is the public faith in judicial system. This incident has created a situation in the entire country that public confidence, trust has shaken. I say in a strong word that what damages has been done cannot be repaired at all, even if Mr. Yashwant Verma comes with an explanation or he is found innocent in the inquiry, in-house inquiry. My statement is that damage to the public trust has already done. Nobody can repair it now by any kind of explanation.
No, but
even if,
but sir, unless there is a due process of law, wouldn't then the collegium be taking action without giving him a fair hearing? Abhimanyu Bhandari,
No,
are we jumping the gun on this, hanging him before he's given a chance to defend himself?
What collegium has done now? Look, and just for a moment.
Go on, sir. Mr. Tiwari, complete your points.
What collegium has done? Collegium has done with an order with a recommendation for transfer to Allahabad High Court. I'm putting a question to myself. The man who is not fit for the Delhi High Court is fit for Allahabad High Court. Whether Allahabad High Court is a dustbin, you want to throw a paper which cannot be used in Delhi High Court, is not liked by the people over there. Whether we are going to welcome him first. Since Supreme Court has created this situation, Collegium has created this situation, that is why he made such a remark.
Fair enough, sir.
What would have been done? Supreme Court को करना क्या चाहिए था?
जी.
The very first moment Supreme Collegium को इनसे judicial work वापस ले लेना था.
ठीक.
उनसे कहते judicial work आपको नहीं देंगे. Let this matter be examined.
ठीक.
Let this matter be examined. Within 2 days this matter would be clarified. कोई extension आता, आगे fact finding होती, जो भी करते आप. आपको तो transfer public को ये signal दिया कि you are angry. You want to do something.
Let me quickly bring in Dr. Adesh Agrawala also into this conversation. Okay, I have Abhimanyu Bhandari back. I had lost him for a second. Abhimanyu Bhandari, are we jumping the gun on this? Is he being hanged before being given a chance to defend himself? Sorry, Abhimanyu, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, go on. Is Justice Verma being hanged before being given a chance to defend himself by transferring him or all that is being said about him in the country?
Gaurav, what is absolutely shocking in this entire case is that after so many hours, we've got a categorical press release by none other than the Director of Fire Services, Mr. Garg, who's gone on media and has given an official statement that not a single penny was found. That when they went there to douse the fire, no cash was recovered. And this is what is shocking. None of us here on this panel were there. You, me, none of the lawyers were there. No one who has given a comment on this story was there. Please remember that a constitutional judge who is empowered by the Constitution to protect the rights of all our citizens, including our right to speech, is actually the most vulnerable person because he can't protect his own right because he's not allowed to speak in his defense. He's like a cloistered nun. And what is shocking in this case is that we are going on using these terms, pile of cash, 15 crores.
Okay.
Where did all these numbers come from? Where has
No,
all this
then
fact
why has he been transferred? Why is the collegium?
Why is the fire services director saying not a penny was found? And if that is the case, then this is a shocking case where a constitutional judge is being attacked.
Okay, let me once again bring in Anil Tiwari, President of the Allahabad High Court.
But one minute,
Okay.
Mr. Before Anil Tiwari steps in, another thing. We were told in the morning by press releases that the Collegium has already made a decision. Because if the Collegium, something as powerful as the Collegium of the Supreme Court of India has made a decision, then it has a lot of sanctity on the minds of everybody. But now we come to know from the press release made by the Supreme Court, it begins by saying that misinformation is being spread about the judge.
Yes.
Now, Gaurav, I am not here for the judge or not for the judge. I am here for the system. I am concerned that by making a false media report and by a few tweets, can you damage a constitutional judge? Can you damage someone's career? I am actually shocked and appalled.
No, so am I. When did
all this big talk, but today the person who was actually there at the site says nothing was found, not a single penny.
When was this said? My producer is just cross-checking this, what you're saying on the broadcast right now. We're just cross-checking. You're saying that Fire Service has issued a statement just now.
Saying the head of Department of Fire Services made a press release.
Okay.
That press release has just come out. Please look at that press release. Number two.
Well, as soon as that press release is in public domain, if it's been shared with you,
I will share it. I was shocked.
Don't share it with me. We'll get it from the fire department. We will get it from the fire department and we'll be the first to put it out the moment it is out in public domain. But I want to bring in Adesh Agarwala. Give me a moment, because be that if that is the case, Mr. Agarwala, it's happened rather late in the day. If that press release has come out only now, after all that has been said through the day in Rajya Sabha, if this fire happened on the 14th, and if it was discussed in the parliament today and a press release is coming out at 8:30, as our friend is telling us, Mr. Bhandari, then it would indicate that another fire is being put out.
Mr. Bhandari is totally right. If one reporter, one newspaper report and spoil the reputation of entire judiciary, it is not the question of Mr. Verma, Justice Verma. It has spoiled the reputation of entire judiciary. And transfer of a judge to home state, home high court, is not a punishment. And no permission, even this concerned judge is to be consulted.
Okay.
If he's being sent to other high court, then he has to be consulted. And when police says nothing recovered, when Supreme Court says that false reports are being distributed and used in press, media, this has totally shattered the system. Okay. Action should be taken actually if we want to protect. And I'm sorry, you were interviewing those people who don't know the law,
okay.
like Mr.
Sir, okay, I am sure they've been former Additional Solicitor General of India and senior advocates like yourself. Okay, but I want to bring in Diljit Ahluwalia also into this conversation quickly, and my apologies for coming to you so late. How do you make the system more transparent? Because very clearly, the system cannot be manipulated in such a way that a report comes out, is discussed in Parliament, is discussed in public domain, and suddenly we are told that none of this has happened. How do you make the system more transparent? How do you make the system more accountable, sir?
Now, first important point which I want to make is that we are talking about the effect of this incident onto the faith of the common man. But kindly also keep in mind that such incidents have a very, very profound effect on the judges themselves.
Yes.
The prestige of the judges, the prestige of the entire institution. Second point is that I'm not going to go into the merits of it, whether the fire department today, after 3 days or 4 days, is saying that not a single penny was there. I don't want to get into that. The important point here is that transfer is not one of the solutions to such situations. Immediately, the judicial work has to be withdrawn from the judge immediately.
Okay.
Rest of the things can follow. Like they say that Caesar's wife has to be above suspicion.
Okay.
A judge, if an allegation like this has been made and there is material, it is not that a wild allegation has been made. They are saying that there is a huge amount of unaccounted cash which has been recovered. It may be a false allegation for all one knows. But the very fact that an allegation like this has been made.
Where is this material? What material? Please, let's have a objective discussion. There is no doubt what Mr. Diljit is saying is correct. If there is material, but there is no material, that's what I'm saying. I was shocked. As an advocate, as a citizen, I was shocked. And I'm telling you, when the story broke out this morning, there was nothing in any of these stories that whether the police was asked, whether the fire department was asked. Then the fire department is coming out and now saying there was nothing.
No, so there's a statement that's come from the Delhi fire chief only now. It's only now that a statement has come from
morning newspaper reportation. Only this morning newspaper
to cover the situation.
Okay, that Atul Garg is now saying that he's denying any claims of recovery of any cash by the firefighters.
Yes.
The quantum of the alleged discovered amount is not known, is what he's saying. So, Mr. Tiwari, this completely takes apart the case that was being built through the morning. Whether it was X amount or X into 10 times, Mr. Tiwari.
What is important is not the amount of cash. What is important is the failure of the judiciary and the public faith is eroding. The entire day was this matter was in public domain. Now the stand is being changed. It is shocking. It is nothing but manipulation.
Stand is being changed. There was no stand by anyone.
Why the press release? Why the press release of fire was coming at this late hour?
Information was being spread.
Okay.
We should put the right facts on television, because what
Supreme Court has taken cognizance now. Supreme Court Collegium says that we have not issued the transfer order. The entire day, the question was being raised in Parliament. Everything is washed out, but just by a press release that no transfer order was passed and no cash was recovered.
Okay,
damage which is caused to the public is already done.
The larger picture here is that today there is no material whatsoever. Department of Fire
Now
Service
you say there is no material. What was the entire day?
Misinformation being spread. What is
That
wrong?
is the serious question. That is the serious question.
Are we going to conduct a media trial and just say anything about
this
anybody?
No, not at all. But this is a serious question. Why?
Okay,
why
let me quickly bring in Diljit Ahluwalia and Adesh Agrawala to respond to this. Diljit Ahluwalia, does this then become a trial by media? Because that would be extremely damaging. Because what are we hearing? Following reports of alleged cash recovery from sitting Delhi High Court Judge so-and-so's official residence, Supreme Court on Friday said Delhi High Court Chief Justice had initiated an in-house inquiry against him and the proposal to transfer him was separate. How would you view this, Diljit Ahluwalia?
This is normally one such thing happens.
Now just
one by one, Mr. Agrawala. I'm just taking it from Mr. Ahluwalia, then coming to you, sir.
Yes. We are talking about the fire department, right? And I say that there can be no smoke without fire. Can it be possible that the media is playing this, the Supreme Court is taking cognizance of it, the Parliament is also discussing it, and after, a gap of time, the fire people come forward and say there was no money. Of course, there is something more sinister here. Another important point here is that how do we set the system right? There is a requirement of a law, a very stringent law wherein any judge who is caught in corruption, strict action has to be taken, criminal action has to be taken against him.
Okay.
Because all this, the shield which is given to them is not a shield against corruption.
Yes.
It is a shield to basically insulate them from executive pressure, from the pressure of the government.
Pertinent point.
A connected point here is that today the judiciary is in this state because there are a lot of people who are liaisoners, who are trying to liaison. There has to be a very strict law against the liaisoners who are ruining the reputation of the judiciary. And because of that, the common man's belief in the judiciary is going for a toss. They are the ones who are saying that we will do this and we'll do that. Why not get a law which is very strict? Third point, the salary which is being paid to the Constitutional Court judges is very, very, very low. Why can't we as a nation, when we talk about the economy booming so much, why can't we give 10 lakh rupees tax-free salary to a High Court judge? Why can't we do that? And after that, we also have a law that if there is a corruption, allegation against you, the first place you will go to is Tihar jail.
Okay, so I want to bring in Mr. Agrawala for
these
more
are all
on
which have to be connected together.
Fair enough. The Chief Justice has initiated an in-house inquiry against him. If there was nothing, why would the Chief Justice initiate an in-house inquiry against him? Mr. Agrawala.
Only I have read the statement issued by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has disclosed there is a provision of in-house committee. At this moment, no in-house committee has been appointed. It is only the Delhi High Court Chief Justice, when this report comes, he has been asked to submit his report. He is making his inquiries. He will be talking to the concerned judge. Then will submit a report. And the Supreme Court Chief Justice will go through. If he feels something has come out against him, then he will constitute in-house committee. In-house committee will be making inquiries, will be issuing notice to the concerned judge, and also collect material. If they found he was involved, then the Supreme Court can ask the government to initiate proceedings, impeachment proceedings. Yep. Otherwise, MPs can also directly initiate impeachment proceeding.
Okay, Mr. Tiwari, but this clearly should be a transparent process, because so much has been said. Nobody would want to hang an innocent man. At the same time, nobody would want
that he should be hanged.
Absolutely, nobody would want somebody who's done something wrong to get away scot-free. So the fact that ripples were created in legal circles, in parliament, with voices calling for resignation, to FIRs, to questioning the collegium decision to transfer him, what needs to be done in the most transparent manner for facts to come out in public domain, sir?
Mr. Gaurav, one thing is very clear. A stand of the Supreme Court was in the earlier hours that he has been recommended for transfer. And thereafter, a report comes that some in-house inquiry has been ordered and Delhi High Court Chief Justice has been asked to submit a report. Right? Now in the evening hours, Supreme Court release is there that no such recommendation has been made. And far chief, as Mr. Agrawala has stated, that has come with a statement that no cash is recovered. All these entire incident has supported my stand that judiciary is not fair with this incident and something is being covered up, and therefore the public trust again shattered.
Okay.
This is very, very shameful.
Mr. Bhandari, you wanted to respond.
I have no faith at all.
Okay, Mr. Bhandari, I also want to say what the Supreme Court said. There is misinformation and rumors. Okay, Mr. Tiwari, 10 seconds, please complete, sir.
Only one second.
Go on,
only
sir.
1 second, thereafter I will leave. Only 1 second, we have already notified the General House that is going to be held on Monday, and in the presence of 15,000 lawyers. And whatever the decision will be taken, we will implement that decision, but we will not accept any corrupt judge. That's all.
Sir, but that is for due process of law to decide
whether
corrupt or not. Mr. Bhandari, quickly, sir.
We will be waiting the decision of the Supreme Court Collegium.
Yes, sir.
Three facts, Gaurav. Fact number one, the Supreme Court Collegium has not made any resolution other than a release that has been made this afternoon. That is the first time Court Collegium has made a release. That release says that misinformation is being spread against a particular judge. That's the way the release starts with. One. Second, it says that because of certain events and because of certain press release or whatever, we are awaiting a report from none other than the Honorable, the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court to give a report today.
Yes.
So till now, there is no report which the Collegium has considered, and the Collegium has not made any view on the matter.
Fair enough.
Whole in the morning that the person has been transferred was wrong. Now, number two, we were told that there is an allegation that cash has been found. Who made the allegation? Where was the cash found? How much is the cash? We don't know. No press report says that. No one says that. Wild figures people are throwing on Twitter.
Yes.
Now the Delhi Fire Services for the first time comes up and gives a categorical statement, which I have seen and you have seen and the whole world is now, which says no cash was found.
In fact, we've just put it up here on India Today.
Please put that, because this whole number game that is being thrown out, today.
Absolutely.
Gaurav,
No, that's exactly why we didn't put out any numbers.
And the authority with which various people are just kind of making accusation is actually pretty disturbing.
Yes.
I am not for any side, but I am for the system, just like Mr. Atish Agarwal said.
Absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
and judges are at every day fighting for what? For justice.
Fighting for justice, and we will continue to track developments on this story, gentlemen, very closely. I've run out of time on this part of the show. The Supreme Court also did say, the Collegium, in that statement, Justice Upadhyay has commenced the in-house inquiry procedure, collecting evidence and information. We will track this story. That is all I have for you on the show this evening. Many thanks for watching. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us.